For you.
That's right. That means we're at E3.
We are at E3. This is E3 2003, and we're going to talk about
Tron!
Not just Tron.
We're not talking about Tron?
Well, we'll talk about Tron.
Can we talk about Tron?
But there are other games we're going to talk about as well. On the Xbox,
yes.
PlayStation 2, PC,
GameCube,
Game Boy Advance, and the brand new Ngage from Nokia. It's going to be a very busy show. You don't want to go anywhere.
You can fit that down your pants.
You can. E3 has begun. We've taken a look at the Xbox offerings, and I gotta ask you, pal, what did you like at Xbox?
Well, I think the big news this year with Microsoft and the Xbox is the fact that mostly everything now,
almost everything,
is Xbox Live. It's online, but the biggest thing is the whole XSN, which is the new Microsoft sports branding stuff, where not only you talk about Xbox Live, you talk about games being online, but what's different with this is that, yeah, it's not just two people playing each other, it's complete stat tracking.
It's awesome.
All live in real time as well. If you're playing Project Gotham Racing 2 and you just beat the new track record, every single person in the world will know that. And your records are kept for good, so that like anyone in the world can come on in 2 days from now and see what the new track record is.
Inside Drive is online.
They got basketball, they got football, they got hockey, they got baseballs online. Unbelievable.
There's a Dead or Alive fighting game that's online.
Dead or Alive Online, it's called.
Unbelievable.
And again, but the big news is that they completely keep all of your stats and they track everything. It's not just two people playing each other. It's unbelievable.
To me, the Xbox is summed up this year by online and beautiful graphics. Every game on the Xbox, it looks incredible.
One of the most incredible games I've seen so far is the new James Bond game, 007,
beautiful game.
Everything or Nothing.
They're finally just nailing the James Bond experience, aren't they?
It took them a little while, but I mean, I tell you, there's this one part where you're rappelling down the side of a building, but it's like top-down view, and there's window glass breaking and fire shooting out the windows as you're shooting down. It's unbelievable.
For me, Crimson Skies took the Xbox game of the show for me. I loved Crimson Skies before. I know I've talked about this game quite a bit. It's been at E3 a few times already, but now they're getting every single detail down.
I think people are going to freak out over True Crime, Streets of LA.
Absolutely.
A game for the Xbox by Activision.
Well, now they can play that sort of Grand Theft Auto on their Xbox.
It's the Grand Theft Auto experience on the Xbox, but the fighting is a lot more detailed, the hand-to-hand combat.
It looks like a Jackie Chan movie or something.
Now wait a second, there's that other game that Microsoft made. It was like a first-person game. What was it called again?
Halo 2.
Oh yeah,
Halo 2.
I guess there's some people here interested in Halo 2 for some reason. I don't know why.
The only thing that bums me out about this one is we have to wait until 2004.
Don't forget Project Gotham Racing.
Oh my God.
Again, Xbox Live. It's all about Xbox Live this year. I gotta say that as far as the online stuff goes, in the console market, no one is touching Xbox. It is the one to get, the system to play if you want to get online and play games.
Absolutely. Another game that I was really impressed to see was THQ had this tactical squad-based game. It's called Full Spectrum Warrior.
Unbelievable.
It's a mix between a real-time strategy game and a Ghost Recon style game. I had an awesome time at the Xbox booth. It's all about software.
Xbox
it's all about
Live.
games.
Xbox
Live. Great
Unbelievable.
graphics. Very impressed. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I loved the booth this year.
I'm giving the whole booth an 8.5.
Great showing from Xbox.
Totally.
All right, we're here now at the Sony booth, and for the PlayStation 2, it's almost like there's just too many games to talk about, isn't there, man?
Well, I mean, I think if Sony proved anything this year, they once again proved why they are the dominant force in the video game industry. I know a lot of the Nintendo fanboys don't want to hear it, but facts are facts. And this booth is by far the best booth here, once again for me, at E3.
I'm really impressed by all of the progressive scan video games I'm seeing here, all the bump mapping, the visual effects are incredible on the PlayStation 2 still, and the developers are obviously finding a lot of interesting ways to make their games look photorealistic.
There's so many high quality and fun to play games here. It's unbelievable. Let's run through a couple of the titles.
All right, well the game at the Sony booth for me is Jak 2. This is a sequel to Jak and Daxter.
All this stuff here in Jak 2 is your favorite.
I love the first Jak and Daxter game, and I really can't wait to see what Naughty Dog has up their sleeve with Jak 2. Looks fantastic. It's a little bit darker. Jak's a little bit meaner. Cool weapons, cool characters.
I gotta talk about Medal of Honor Rising Sun.
That's beautiful as well.
This is a PlayStation 2 game that is gonna absolutely push all the limits.
Awesome online play in Gran Turismo 4 now. Incredible stuff.
Speaking of online play, Final Fantasy 11.
With the hard disk drive for Final Fantasy 11 as well. They're finally going to release that.
I'm talking Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
That is one of the best looking PlayStation 2 games I've ever seen.
Can you believe this?
I mean, we're talking movie quality visuals.
And 2 players simultaneous.
Awesome. I was
Rise to Honor.
Yeah, Jet Li's game.
This game came out of nowhere. Jet Li starring in the game. You can run up walls and shoot guys.
You use the right analog stick to do a lot of the combat maneuvers and stuff. There's multi-character fighting.
All of the EA Sports stuff.
Yes.
Looks incredible.
And online. They've got the whole EA Sports sort of online connection. You've got live chat now, so you can actually talk to each other while you're playing the games. They also have all kinds of tracking. They're going to be doing tournaments.
Don't forget 007, Everything or Nothing, or Nothing for Everything, or Something for Nothing.
You don't get anything for nothing.
I don't know what it's called, but it's one of those, and it looks amazing.
The new James Bond game.
You're rappelling down the sides of walls, shooting people.
The Hulk is on PlayStation 2, looking pretty cool.
He's green.
He's green and mean and busting everything.
Prince of Persia is back.
I don't know where.
The very first game I ever worked on was Prince of Persia, and here it is, 15 years later.
It was developed by Ubisoft Montreal, same group of people that put Splinter Cell out. Very apparent that they're using a lot of the same technologies, a lot of the same skills.
Now you love Jak too, but what about Ratchet and Clank?
I'm looking forward to that one too.
Going Commando or Commando Underpants or something.
Going Commando, yes. I loved the first game, although I thought it was a little less organic. I thought it was a little bit too by the numbers.
Got more RPG elements this time around.
Yes, this time you're going to have a little bit more fun beefing up your character.
We got a new Siphon Filter game, which looks unbelievable.
New Maximo. Now you've got sort of counters and all kinds of really cool combo points coming up when you're hitting on the enemies.
It's a lot darker this time around, a lot more cinematic feel, and not as hard as the first game, thank God.
We have a new Batman game coming out this year. We are keeping our fingers crossed that Batman, please don't let us down. Come back, come back. I know that Jim Lee did the final boss art. I'm really looking forward to that one. And it's Ubisoft. They've been doing really well.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Please, please, don't let me down, Ubisoft.
Hey, I bet you're psyched for Real Fishing 3.
Oh, yeah. I've got 4 copies reserved. I can't wait for that game.
He hates fishing games. I love fishing games.
When are they going to make a sleeping simulator? That's what I want to know.
Fishing games are fun.
No, you know what I want? I want to play is that downhill domination. Mountain bikes.
Mountain
biking and kicking people off.
Hey, don't kick me.
Sorry, man.
It looks so much fun.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
Wait, Tomb Raider, Army of Darkness, showing here on the floor.
I don't know.
It's playable. It's Lara
It's got control problems.
She's got big breasts.
It's got control problems.
He's got big breasts.
It's got control problems.
Splashdown, a new Splashdown game. Metal Gear Solid 3.
Very good looking game.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
They're showing video. We can't play it yet. Speaking of 3, Silent Hill 3.
Oh my God.
How about Castlevania?
Yes.
Looks unbelievable.
Yes.
Could be the Devil May Cry killer.
It sure looks like Devil May Cry. It's the only thing that's sort of holding me back from being too psyched about that game. I know it's going to be fun.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh man, there you go.
Spider-Man 2 looks amazing from Activision. Lots of cool things you can do.
Tony Hawk Underground.
How about Soul Calibur 2?
Soul Calibur 2 with Hayachi as a playable.
Kill Switch.
Right.
Remember Kill Switch and Namco? You do all this behind the walls.
There are sure a ton of those sort of Dead to Rights style action-based third-person character games.
Really went crazy.
I was very happy to see SOCOM 2. They're going broadband only on this one.
That's right.
And you can call in airstrikes in this game. Chat stuff's going to be better in this one too.
But one of the biggest announcements that Sony has done this time around for this E3 is they've announced their Sony portable.
That's amazing.
Finally,
amazing.
A portable. It's going to run on mini DVD type things. We haven't seen it at the show. We haven't had a chance to play it. It's coming out next year in 2004.
It's going to be an interesting year with Nintendo and Sony in the portable market out there, and Nokia and the Ngage.
What are you scoring this booth?
I'm giving this booth, and I'm giving Sony's overall sort of appearance and presentation at E3, 9 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 9.5.
Well, that's it for PlayStation 2. When we come back, we're going to talk about GameCube and Game Boy Advance. Stick around. By EB Games.
Now, some may not consider this a buried treasure at all, but so what? This is Shenmue from the Dreamcast. Now, everybody knows about Shenmue 2 on the Xbox, big selling game, whole thing. Remember the movie that came with, the DVD movie that came with Shenmue 2? Well, you can actually go play through this whole game. Now, the great thing about Shenmue is it's a completely entire living, breathing city. I mean, you could literally walk up to anyone in this entire game. Every shelf and drawer you can open up and interact with. It's unbelievable. There was tons of fun stuff to do in here. You actually had to go and work and get a job. You get a job doing forklift stuff, and the big payoffs, though, at the end of the game, where you get to drive through the city in a motorcycle with this hot chick on the back. Hey, everyone likes doing that. The music's really good. You can learn a ton of different fighting moves, and there's great slow-mo action sequences as well. Sometimes you have to like chase people through the city, and they tell you which button to press, and you have to duck and slide and do all these other great moves. The storyline is extremely rich. The voiceovers, but what can you do? So Shenmue for the Dreamcast. Pick it up for sure.
All right, we're back. We're going to talk now about Nintendo's offering at E3 on the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance, and you really can't talk about one system without mentioning the other anymore.
Of course not.
Because everything is connected this year, it seems. Like every game they got.
Well, I'll tell you what I liked about the Game Boy Advance is that they have a bunch of new colors. This is the coolest thing.
Such a punk.
There's all the different rainbows. They have like metallic orange, metallic red. They got a nice charcoal, a nice shade of puce, I might add.
Yes, they do.
There's a nice magenta, kind of like a tangerine, red, orange.
Wait a second here.
Orange, red.
Wait, there's lots of that's not the most exciting thing you saw at the Nintendo booth. You're not telling me that. You're not saying you did that out of all the games they had on display, that the colored Game Boys, which are very nice.
They got green. They got...
What about the games?
Oh, did you see the pink one?
I did see the pink one.
The pink one. And you know what else?
What about the games?
Oh, there was a new Mario game.
That's right, Mario and Luigi.
Mario 4, 3. It was like 3 and 4.
No, it's Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Wait, sorry. Say that title for me again.
It's Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3 is the name of the game. And it's the NES Super Mario Brothers 3 game brought to the Game Boy Advance, which people have been waiting for a long time. Another Game Boy Advance game I think is really cool is that Boktai from Konami.
What's that?
Well, this one you can actually have a light sensor in it, and you hold it underneath the sunlight, and your gameplay changes whether or not you've got sun on your Game Boy. One of the most interesting things about the Game Boy Advance games is that a lot of games now are being developed that take advantage of both systems. So if you're a Nintendo player,
right,
the idea here is that you want to have both systems to get the full sort of playability out of these games.
Well, now let's switch over to GameCube.
All right, let's talk about the GameCube.
You first.
Okay. A lot of the stuff that we saw on the GameCube this year looked like either sequels or remakes of great games that we've seen before.
Well, I also think that this is the year that Nintendo has just first party completely abandoned anything of any kind of adult content. I mean, everything on the system now is completely cartoony. Now some other companies, Namco has Soul Calibur 2, which looks awesome. But aside from that, everything that Nintendo first party had to offer.
Wrong. Geist looks like a little bit like Perfect Dark, but it's got some sort of creepy overtones. You actually pop out of bodies and possess them and take control of bodies and work your way through this first-person shooter that way.
How about Kirby's Air Ride?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. Hey, don't point that at me.
There.
Don't point that at me.
That, Kirby.
I'm looking forward to Kirby's Air Ride, you sick, twisted freak. I had a lot of fun playing Mario Kart, Double Dash, playing Rebel Strike, the new Star Wars game, F-Zero GX, the new Star Fox, the new Mario Golf game looks really great. Final Fantasy is on both of the Nintendo systems for the first time in a long time with Crystal Chronicles. It's a little bit strange though because you have to control your characters with the Game Boy Advance controls, not the analog stick. But it still looks great, and it's good to see Final Fantasy back on Nintendo.
Okay, so here's the big question of the day.
Yes.
What do you give the Nintendo area, and that's including Game Boy and GameCube and everything else? What are you giving the booth?
I was a bit scared after the press conference. I didn't see the big stellar, massive title, but after playing these games and checking out the booth, I had a good time. 8 out of 10.
For me, for my taste, I'm giving the Nintendo area a 6 this year.
Well, that's it for Nintendo's offering from E3. Stick around. We're going to be right back with a look at the PC and the brand new Ngage right after this. All right, we're back. We talked about the console games, but now we're moving on into the PC world.
That's right.
And what I've got to talk about here, what I got to say is, oh my God, are there a lot of massively multiplayer, online, role-playing, huge online games.
Massive amount. Massively massive.
There are massive amounts of massively multiplayer games out here today.
Right.
There's World of Warcraft from Blizzard.
1.
Very, very cool looking game. There's EverQuest 2.
2.
Very cool. Star Wars Galaxies.
3.
There's Mythica
4.
from Microsoft. NCSoft has Lineage 2.
5.
City of Heroes.
6.
Blah, 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 blah.
7. 9.
And
12.
There's like so
There's a total of 12.
Massively multiplayer. It's hard to keep track. And if you love those games, you're not going to be able to work at all anymore.
But you know, I still like some of the single player stuff. You know,
Yeah.
We saw a new Thief, which I've been waiting for
Thief
a long
3.
time.
Yum.
Doom 3, first person
Doom 3.
shooter. Everybody's talking about Half-Life 2.
Everyone is freaking out over Half-Life 2. That game is getting a lot of buzz at the show this year, and it looks incredible. I actually got booted out of the screening room because Robin Williams was in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they wouldn't let me in because he had to, you know, Mark had to take precedence over that.
He had to make jokes.
He had to make jokes and see the game.
And then there was that one game, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Right, the one that still hasn't come out yet.
What's
the one
called?
that we're anticipating.
It begins with a T.
Yeah, the from Buena Vista.
I had that
it's got
Disney
the crazy
thing,
light
the
cycle
blue thing. What's it called? Tron!
Yeah,
yes,
that one.
Tron
that one.
was here in full force.
Yeah, Tron 2.0.
And light cycle battles, first person. From what I played so far, it seems to be pretty darn cool.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Sims 2 is coming up soon, so all you Sims fanatics are going to enjoy that one too.
How about Planet Side from Sony Online?
That's another cool game.
Massively multiplayer.
But this one's different.
Buzzwords.
It's not an RPG though. This one's a first-person shooter. In the strategy realm, there was a couple of really cool games too. There was Empires from Activision. Great-looking models and characters in the game. You can actually bring the camera right down to the ground level. And of course, the big one too is Brian Reynolds' Rise of Nations, which is coming out from Microsoft. That one has got a lot of buzz out there. It's sort of a mix of real-time strategy elements and turn-based, and it's going to be a huge game for Microsoft. If you like,
he talks a lot, doesn't he?
But you don't like those kinds of games, do you?
Well, here's the thing: is we're looking around and doing all the PC things. You know, tell me a game that you thought was like new. On a console, we see a lot of new type stuff.
Agreed.
You know, and that was the one thing that disappointed me about the PC.
I agree. For my money, I'm enjoying playing the console games a bit more, but I think some of the most exciting stuff this year is definitely on the PC. And Half-Life 2 is up there, man. That game is incredible.
Like, don't get me wrong, graphics beautiful.
Yes.
Sound is up a notch.
Well, that's where the innovations are.
You know,
that's where these.
I want to see innovations in gameplay. What do you give the whole PC area?
I'm giving the PC games a 9. There's a ton of games that I want to play.
I'm giving the PC area a 7.5.
All right, there's a brand new thing here at E3 2003. It's from Nokia. It's the Ngage, and for the first time, gamers from around the industry are able to sit down, play with this thing. There's questions answered. It's going to be $300. There's going to be about 10 titles at launch.
So it's a cell phone. It's an MP3 player. Why would you want an MP3 player in your phone?
I do think that phones and MP3 players and game system, all that stuff should be becoming more integrated because it's such a drag packing around all this stuff.
I thought the screen was going to be bigger.
Yeah, me too.
I'm used to the Game Boy SP where, you got a pretty decent sized screen.
The software that I saw today, though, yeah, it was cool to see a 3D Tomb Raider.
That's a nice frame rate. I mean, it wasn't as silky smooth as the PlayStation, but it was certainly better than the Game Boy SP stuff as far as the 3D and everything.
Absolutely, that was impressive. The Sonic game that I saw, I actually preferred the Game Boy Advance Sonic game that I've been playing. Virtua Tennis was a little bit nicer on the Ngage than what I saw on the Game Boy Advance, so that's cool.
You got Tony Hawk Pro Skater, you got Tomb Raider, you know, you got all the best-selling PlayStation games. You see Pandemonium.
Right.
How'd that get on there?
MotoGP, the driving games, Red Faction.
If you're a hardcore game player, and you're looking to get a new phone, and you have some extra money, it's $300, it's a big price, why not pick it up?
Yeah.
The phone works, the games work. I tell you what, it's certainly 10 times better than any of the other crappy games that you have on normal cell phones.
Absolutely. Would you pick an Ngage over a Game Boy Advance based on what you've seen so far?
Personally, no. I like the library of the Game Boy Advance a lot better. I mean, there's hundreds of games for it, right?
I think Nokia's got to show us a lot more. Bluetooth enabled interactivity is cool, where you can have multiplayer games without any wires. That's awesome. You can connect to the internet and do some things like the Ghost mode in Tomb Raider, where you can actually record your gameplay and then play that back again. But I still prefer the library titles and the connectivity to the GameCube with the Game Boy Advance.
And the price.
So I'm gonna give the Nokia Ngage booth 6.5 out of 10.
I think it's an average system, which isn't necessarily saying it's bad. It's just average. I'm going to give it a 5.
All right, well, E3's over. We've had 3 incredibly long and kind of difficult days checking out all the games that we possibly could cram into those 3 days, but we didn't come close to seeing hardly half of them.
We gotta send a shout out to all the JD forum members from the website who came and helped us out. Steve Areno. We got Fubar, JD Mafia members. These guys are big.
And these are just the short guys that helped us out.
How
you should
about
see
Rudy
the really
Gore?
tall guys.
Where's Rudy Gore?
Rudy Gore was kicking around in here too.
All right.
And they're making us feel really, really small and unimportant.
That's right.
That's right.
Which we are.
Yes, we are. We're going to do this again next year, E3 2004. Thanks for watching. We had a blast. What is it with you and Kirby?
Ride that one too, Kirby, you fat yellow.
It's pink.
You fat pink.
Get Kirby right, man.
Kirby. I don't know.
Fun.
Who do I hate more,
Always
Kirby
fun.
or Rayman?
Kirby is fun.
I don't know.
And Rayman's fun.
I think Kirby.
You know
I
who's
hate
not
more.
fun? This guy. He's not fun.
If I had to fart on anyone, it would be Kirby.